Hello Tech Genius, I am Ravi. Have you ever imagined a place where learning is as dynamic as the technology shaping your world? Then here's a deal. With iMatix, you can make sure the learning is exciting, impactful right from the beginning. You have interactive sessions with expert-led courses. In the world of tech, from data science to cloud computing, it's not just about a session, it's about doing, building, learning by solving real problems. So let's get started. We will be discussing calculated fields today. Calculated fields in Workday are created to actually optimize the data filter, the data performing arithmetic calculations, and to manipulate any kind of data with tweaking. The calc fields in Workday are created to perform formatting of the data, like formatting text, formatting dates, lowercase to uppercase, uppercase to lowercase, and formatting date values and performing arithmetic calculations. Any kind of mathematical pieces can be performed. And data transformations, data formatting, any kind of, if you have any kind of text values that you wanted to concatenate and make it a kind of common in a defined format that you wanted to have, we can actually concatenate those values, merge those values and make it a format that you wanted to have. And we can actually break the values, break the text values 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 or 3 to 4. You can actually break those values with some functions. If you are good in programming, there are certain kind of functions that we'll be using in programming. The same functions we'll be using here, but we will be not writing any kind of program, we'll be just doing some configurations. But if you are aware of any kind of functions that are used in any kind of languages, the same kind of functions are used like substring, date format, text format, and evaluations. You can do some functions. Writing the 2 or 4, first condition. Writing the 2 or 4, first condition. Looping, you'll be writing, if this is correct, get this one, like looping concept will be having, right? Those kind of loops and all will be there. The functions you use there in languages, the same functions you will be using. But first, without writing any kind of expressions, without writing any kind of program, you will be using those functions for data transformations and data tweaks. I can say evaluations, if this condition is true, return this value. If this condition is false, return this value, kind of evaluations you will be doing. And define constant values. Like date, constant text, constant values you can define. Basically, calculated fields are used to tweak the data that is sitting in the system. It actually tweaks the data that sits in the system. Remember that you are not creating any new field. Calculated value are based on the delivered fields Workday provides. You will actually take the delivered field that Workday provides and use that field for calculation. But you are not creating any new field in Workday. Employee is there. If you wanted to format this employee, or if you wanted to break this employee number or do any kind of evaluation with this employee, such kind of data tweaks on the existing data that you can look. But you will be not creating any new field that Workday has not provided through calculated fields. Calculated fields are based on the delivered field that Workday provides and also based on existing calculated fields. Existing calculated fields can also be used for performing all these kinds of actions. You can actually do these kinds of actions on delivered fields as well as existing calculated fields. And these calculated fields can be used mostly in reports. Mostly used in custom reports, and can be used in condition rules. Business clauses, scheduling process. When you are scheduling any kind of integrations or reports, you will use it for any date parameters to be added. You can use the calculated field and integrations also. These are the areas calculated fields can be used. Mostly, you will be using calculated field in wide number of reportings. And the advantages of calculated field is you won't require any kind of programming skills, or you wouldn't be needing any kind of program to write any kind of workday. If you are aware of calculated fields, if you know what calculated field functions can be used for which use, then your report will be getting the same kind of data. Let's say, for example, all employees who are on leave you wanted to return O. 3 characters ATO based on employee status you wanted to return. If you are writing a program for this one, you will be defining some kind of conditions. If employee is active, return a kind of text to constant value A. You will be writing a program there. And then again you will write one more loop, else return this one kind of looping concept. You will be writing the same kind of concept will come in calculated fields also, but there is a different function that you will be using, evaluate function you will be using. You will be creating one evaluation calculated field, and there you will define in if employee is active, return A, if employee is terminated, return T, if employee is only, return O, kind of characters that you will be defining there. That without any kind of expression that you are writing, this calculated field is returning the values that you wanted to have. If you are aware of the calculated fields, where to use, when to use, what to use kind of function, then when you are actually building complex integrations, you wouldn't be requiring any kind of accessibility, because accessibility is nothing but programming language that Workday integration uses. For any kind of complex integrations, Access Entity is a kind of language, but this supports the default output format of Workday is XML. And if you wanted to do any kind of data transformations, data tweaks, if you are not aware of calculated fields, you should be writing an XLT. If you are good in programming, you can go with XSLT. Also, you can go with XLT. Whatever we are discussing here, these are all can be performed in XSLT also. All these formattings, calculations, data formatting, evaluations, and any other areas where calculated field is given, that you can do all those things with XSLT also. But if you are aware of calculated field functions, you wouldn't be needing XSLT to do that, because you'll be performing those in reports, and report can be attached to the integration, and integration will be generating the output, because you already did all these things in calculated fields, and you'll be getting the end result in the output format based on the calculation that you have made for calculated fields. But if you have not done these things in report, you'll be attaching that to report, and you'll be writing an XSLT to perform this in integration. Those are the things that you need to note with calculated fields. Calculated fields are very important. Many kind of use cases requirements will be getting to you when you are building complex reports. You'll be getting kind of requests to perform calculations on the existing data that is sitting in the system. Or if they wanted to match multiple values and give a kind of single value, you need to actually do the calculation with that. In many areas, you're still waiting in calculated fields, and calculated fields will be very helpful for you to actually tweak the data to optimize the data that is sitting in the system. Most of the integrations will be requiring this, and also the reports, any kind of condition rules that you are defining, and any kind of report formatting changes that you wanted to have data, and the report format changes that you wanted to have, you can actually go with calculated fields. And note that these calculated fields are based on the data that is already sitting in the system. You're not building any new value that is not there in the system. You're taking the value that is sitting in the system, and you're attaching this to calculated function and making, be it a format, be it any kind of a substring for breaking the values, and the evaluations, arithmetic calculations. All these things you are performing based on the real that is sitting in the system. It's not that you are creating a new value that is not there in the system. The value that is sitting in the system, you're tweaking the data and getting new version of the value. That is the only thing that you will be doing. Clear on what I was referring? Yes, clear on it. Calculated fields can be created in multiple ways. One, through the task. That's why I can create a character fields. Or one is from the search bar that they can create. The other way is you can actually create from the record. Create character from the record. but I would not recommend anyone to get used to create calculated field from the option of report. Because when you create a calculated field from this option, that calculated fields is specific to that report. If I'm creating a calculated field here, that field will be specific to this report. You cannot get the field if you search from the search bar. Because you have created a calculated field from the report, and the calculated field will be working only for this report, and it will be not allow you to use in any of the condition rule, any of the condition rule, any of the business process, any of the other areas. If you have this kind of similar requirement, if you are using from here, that will be restricted to use in any other areas and restricted to search from the search bar. But if you are creating a calculated field, if you are creating a calculated field from the search bar, if you are creating a calculated field function, if you are creating a calculated field from here, the field that you are creating here can be used across the tenant. You can use the field. When you have similar requirements in multiple reports, you can use the calculated field in multiple reports, and you can use the calculated field in conditional rules, any kind of business process, schedule process, anywhere that you wanted to use across the tenant. You can use the calculated field that you are creating from the search bar. This actually allows not to create any kind of duplicate values, because let's say if I am creating for hire date, I am formatting date based on hire date. I am using this in report and in any other report. The same kind of hire date formatting field is required, and before calculated field is getting created, someone can search hire date. Someone can search if any calculated field is created, the format based on hire date. There are a lot of calculated fields that are available. Someone can pick the value that is actually meeting their needs, and you, instead of creating the new one, the one that is already existing in the system, which is created already, can be used in any other report. But if you are creating, even after the calculated field existing in the system, if you are creating that too many calculated fields working for the same function, for the same purpose, is not required. When you create a calculated field from the search bar, that allows you to actually use in multiple areas. And when you have a requirement to create a calculated field, before you create, just check if that calculated field is already created in the system. Only if that is not created, you will be able to, you can go ahead and create. It is not that you cannot create. It is not that you cannot create. You can create, but unnecessary, right? When the value is already there, that is the value that you are looking for. You don't need any other new field, which is already there. When you are actually creating a calculated field. You must search whether the one that is already existing in the system or not. That you can find, you can create new one and attach to the report or any other area that you wanted to have. Any questions far? Any questions far? I will try to use this week. I will try. Did you know? I will try. I want to try to. I will do it this way. Thank you. 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 I made one simple report. In this report, I will be creating some calculated fields. We will see what are the values that are coming up. We will be using formatting values based on first name and concatenation based on first name and last name. Format date on first name. Format date on hire date and substring. I will be using substring based on this value. I think I wanted to remove this on leave from this thing. I will be using substring on this. I will be using substring function here. I will be using again one more here. I think that should work for today. First, I will be doing formatting changes. You are seeing proper case here. I will be changing from proper case to uppercase. What is the best way of doing calculated fields? Creating the search bar is actually a recommended one. Create calculated fields. If and naming convention, whatever I am actually using here, just get used to that naming convention. Format date function that you are using. Format date is a function name. Format date. And what is the source field? Higher in it. This is actually saying that you're formatting date based on the higher date that is sitting in the system. Now what we are doing? We are doing format text. Format text. First name. We are formatting the name of first name. These are all the functions that I was referring. There are around 30 functions. 30 functions are there. This is the first name of first name, and I think most of the functions are related to one another. If you are creating, let's say if you are actually performing if you wanted to perform this evaluations of expressions, evaluations of expression bands, and all you have to create text to our false condition text constants. There are 3 functions in it that you will be using in evaluations. And similarly, if you are aware of how to actually do a kind of lookups. Lookups in the sense getting the values that are sitting from different business object of related business object to primary business object. The values that are sitting in related business object. If you wanted to get to the primary business object, you will be using lookup related value function. And similarly, hierarchies. If you wanted to get the hierarchy from one object to another object, you can do. If you know how to use a lookup related value, you should be able to perform all the lookups and similarly extracting the values from multi-instance and single instance and evaluations. If you wanted to build dates, you will be using arithmetic calculations. You will be performing and any kind of convert currencies. You want to convert currency, you wanted to convert text to number, all those things. If you wanted to give number of the count, let's say 10 children are there. And if you wanted to give how many children are there, the kind of count if you wanted to have, you can actually build calculation based on that function, based on the condition, like if employee child is male, get the count. You'll be getting all the male count. The employee child is female, get the count. You'll be getting female count with this count related instance. These are all the functions that you'll be using. Mostly around 32 functions are there. We'll be covering the majorly used to calculated field. Important to use, very important. Very basic level will be starting wherever the functions that are used in wide area and also in the complex areas. Whatever functions that are used in actual cases will be covering of all those things. When you are aware of all those things, if we would have missed anything, let's say we are doing format dates. For iMatix, we are doing format date. We are doing number, where number we would have missed. It would be easy for you. If you are aware of how to format text, how to format date, you can actually do a number format based on this knowledge that you're getting. If I'm actually doing any kind of evaluations, if I'm not specifically defined any kind of pro or false conditions, since this is pro or false conditions, I'll be creating an evaluation. You'll be in a way creating pro or false conditions. You should be aware of defining some conditions through pro or false conditions. All these things, wherever we are missing few functions that we are already covering in the calculator that we will be creating. If you wanted to explore more in specific use cases, the one that we have missed, you can actually do for those we have missed action. Now I wanted to format the first name. What would be the function that can be used for that one? Formatting text values. Because name is a kind of text value, right? I can take format text value. Source field would be legal name, first name. Option. Since we already have the options, since that is in proper case, I wanted to have that in uppercase. We can see that the calculator can be used in reporting. Not only reporting. Since I have created from the search bar, this can be used in any of the area wherever you require this value. We will add the field. Similarly, we will be adding calculated fields to the report. I think the same calculator field is created. We can rename this that we can identify the one that we have created. I will just add. Just for identifying the field that I have created, I am adding this one. But this does not have any kind of specification. This is the right format actually. Just to identify the one that I have created, I am just giving a here. That we can pick the one that we wanted to have. But in actual case, no need to give this specification. Thank you much. Thanks much for attending this presentation. You can see this is the actual name with proper format, and this is the calculated one which has formatted the name actually. Now we'll try to merge first name and last name and make it a full name. We'll be merging the first name and last name and make the full name. We already have a full name field, but I'm trying to make you understand how we can merge multiple values, how we can concatenate multiple values. I'm trying to make you understand same created functions, concatenate James L. The subject is broker concatenate. What I wanted to match, what I want to concatenate a legal first name and legal last name, legal name, first name, legal name. Last name can also add space between these two values. If needed, you can also add space between these two values. This can be used as a field the report. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I took a highlight to format. I can select any of the options that you wanted to have, and also at the bottom you will see format mask. Select this one. And here you can define this kind of sequence how you wanted to have your date populated. If you see here, you can see the characters which actually populates the value. If you are giving uppercase D, which takes as a day in a year, if you give lowercase d, which takes day in a month, and if you are giving, we are giving week, as triple E will take the actual week actually. If you wanted to populate the name of the day, you can actually give E in multiple ways. If you wanted to give complete day of the name, you need to give 4 E's. And if you wanted to have first 3 characters, you can give 3 characters of E. This actually defines the format of the date that you wanted to have. That's how we wanted to have. You can just click on the cursor here on the asterisk. You will be getting the characters which actually returns as how we give here. Now, I simply wanted to have 5 money company in it. Time owner. To have day, month name, you will be getting the first 3 characters of the month. You will be getting the year. Let's see how this populates. Let's see how this populates. Let's see how this populates. Now we will see how the format comes with the calculation that we have made. You can see this is the actual format, the calculation that we have made. This is popular to date in this form. Any questions for? These are very simple ones. These are not complicated ones. There are a lot of other complicated calculated fields. I am gradually going based on the kind of complexity from basics to the complex level I am going. These are very basic and simple calculated field functions and mostly used calculated functions. You must be aware, someone asks you how do you format the date? You can actually tell them with the format date functions. You can choose the format that you wanted to have and get the way that you wanted to have. You are not following anything, just called off and ask me. Now you see here manager name. You are seeing name and in the bracket you see on leave for few employees. You are seeing there. And for a few you are not seeing this one. But I wanted to make this entire column to be common to remove this on leave for the folks. This is returning that everyone will have the same kind of naming sequence. What I will do, I will create a calibrating functions to remove this, remove on leave just to populate the name. Let's see. You have substring, manager, the subject, what, we need to get actual field name. I don't know whether it is level 1 or just a manager. I'm just trying to take that reference. Thank you. See you. See you, I will load. Thank you, Len, I am a monk. What is the thing here? We have the text that is sitting in the braces, have to go. I can take this as a kind of delimiter and from there I can actually truncate this value. After a delimiter is taking this as a delimiter direction backward is a kind of direction. From backward, it will be removing from this delimiter. Let's see how this works. Thank you. 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 We are in this. Thank you. 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 Thanks for your attention. This is actually doing reverse. Actually, this has to do forward. This is actually doing reverse. Actually, this is going to be a little bit better. Thank you. Now this slot corrected. We are getting the name of this one. It has removed these values, that is returning this one. But this is a kind of bad example. We are actually considering the ones that we have here. For the rest of the ones, since it is not there, it is actually returning blank. But this should not happen. Even this should come actually. Then we can use this entire column as a kind of name. Now we are getting what we wanted to have, but this is actually taking out the actual name for which only was not there, is actually breaking that also. This should not happen actually. We can actually do the calculation in a different way, that the existing one will not interrupt, and the one that is there for employees only, that should go, but the existing one, if it is not there, it has to populate as it is kind of thing. We can actually make changes to the existing calculation only. But I think if you wanted to break any values based on any kind of character, you can take that character as a kind of delimiter, and from there you can break the character. This one, probably we can do one more calculation for the existing one. That should not actually take out the actual name. If this one is not there, only if this one is there, this should break the kind of thing that we can create. I will show you how we can do. But till here, any questions anyone have? Amit, I just want to understand. You are creating a calculated field and then using to your reports. Custom report. We can use this in any of the reports. Since we are creating from the search bar, you can create these reports. In any of the reports, if I would have created only specific of this report, it would have not been used. But since I have used it from the search bar, you can use this calculated field anywhere in the report. One more question. Once we add this, created the calculated field which we created, and we are doing any changes. Again, we need to change it in the reports also, where we added this calculated field. What is it? Come again. Like you have did just now, the changes. You created one calculated field. Then again you did the changes and added in this report. No, again adding. Since you already added, right? I already added this one. I am not again going and adding. I am just making changes to this one. I am running the report. That's it. Got. No need to add it again and again. No need to. There is already added, right? You can just edit and make changes. Your changes will be coming up here. Got. Thank you. Get these calculated fields. Whatever we discussed today, create them and get some final. These are mostly used calculated but very simple to use. You don't see any kind of expressions that we are writing for this one. But if you wanted to do in a language, you can also do these things. Whatever we have done here till now, formatting to substring functions, you can do through any kind of programming functions also. But one does give the kind of option without doing any kind of program, without writing any kind of single expression. Make your data changes, formatting, data tweaks, anything that works through the calculated field functions that I have shown you. Anything that you can do without any kind of expression. Simply select the function, do operation, and add it to the place where you want it to have. Be it condition, be it report, anywhere you can add to return the value that you are expecting. Get used to the function that we have discussed. And still we have few more functions, and there are some complex calculated fields also, like evaluate, extract, single instance extract, multi-instance lookup related. All those are even more used in complex reporting. We will be covering all those things once you get familiar with these things. These are not related to that. We can still go, but I wanted you to understand whatever we have done, that you will be able to be in a kind of sequence to follow the other calculated field functions also. Any questions still left? If there are no questions, we can close for today and we can catch up tomorrow, same time. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.